What's up? I'm Jared Harris, and you're listening to episode 65 of Beats by Jer. Today's episode is brought to you by both The Spill Magazine and Dropout Entertainment. I am stoked to be joined today by two very special guests. This is a band that when I first started having interviews here, I immediately thought of having on the show, and someone who, over the years, has been requested by many of you. For myself, this is very exciting. This is a band that I have followed for almost a decade. I have seen them live so many times. I have covered their music at length for the Spill magazine. Today, I am very excited to be joined by guitarist, bassist, and keyboardist Kevin Comeau and drummer, singer, and flautist Cody Bowles of the incredible progressive rock duo Crownlands. Formed in 2015, Crownlands have quickly become one of the most thrilling progressive rock bands of our time. The duo have built an impressive career, having released 8 EPs, 1 live record, and as of now, 3 full-length studio albums. In addition to this, Crownlands have supported bands like Jack White, Primus, Greta Van Fleet, July Talk, and Kiss on the road, and have been nominated for 4 Juno Awards, taking home the title of Breakthrough Group of the Year in 2021. Crownlands have returned with their 3rd full-length studio album, Apocalypse, via Inside Out Music on May 15th. The album is a progressive odyssey that draws thematic and visual inspiration from 70s sci-fi and fantasy while delivering an ambitious collection of compositions that capture some of the best performances from the band to date. Furthermore, from a narrative perspective, the record serves as the 2nd entry following 2025's Ritual 1 and 2, and leading into 2023's Fearless as a part of their ongoing cosmic fantasy saga. Here is my conversation with Kevin Comeau and Cody Bowles. Cody Bowles, Kevin Comeau, thank you very much for joining me today for the Spill magazine and for Beats by Jer. And of course, congrats on the release of Apocalypse.
Thank you very much. It feels good to put this out in the world.
Yeah, I bet. It's a fantastic record. I've had it early now for, I guess, like a month, and it's amazing.
Oh, thanks
Sweet.
so much, bro.
But let's look at the road to Apocalypse. Post Fearless, the two of you begin working on Ritual. And the Ritual records that dropped last year are unlike anything else. I think everyone was super surprised. How did the two of you come to that creative direction?
Good question. Well, we actually started the first ritual before Fearless, and we had it kind of sitting around for a while. But we came to that just realizing our love for music extends far beyond rock and roll. Like I listen to a lot of world music, almost more world music than anything else these days. And over the course of the pandemic, I was gifted these pentatonic flutes from my buddy Charlie, who owns Blue Bear Flutes in the States. We met him on our Who tour, and when we toured the Who in the States, and he was a sweet guy, and he was very sweet to give me like a bunch of these awesome flutes, and they sound great. They barely require embouchure. I learned them pretty quickly over the course of the pandemic, and then blending that with the love of world music, we were like, man, we should totally do something with this, like something more mellow, something chill. Because we had like Wayward Flyers, which was an acoustic exploration. And, we came together and we're like, could we do something like that? Like, no, it's got to be something different. It would be something totally different than that. So we came together and we blended flutes with synthesizers and African percussion. I studied African percussion in university. And so I was able to like really just amp those cool like different vibes up. And when we made Crownlands, we decided that whatever we make together, it's going to be us, no matter what genre it is. So it was cool to really like bend in a completely different direction. It's something that we've always wanted to do. I know I always wanted to explore this kind of stuff further, and we just made an excuse to do it.
That's really cool. So that was like your first experience with like any sort of flute instrument then?
No, it wasn't actually. The Starlifter in the journey, there's that like beautiful ambient moment with the synth and the flute, and the
Mhm.
rituals kind of takes that 30-second moment and expands it out
Mm.
into like a 40-minute experience.
Yeah,
And
but technically the first ritual was recorded before Starlifter. So if you want to be technical
interesting.
about it,
No,
yeah, it
you're
is.
right. You're right. You're right,
Yeah.
actually. Yeah. I guess it's just not the
Hmm.
first time the world
Yeah.
heard you.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
like
exactly.
No, you're right.
like
Yeah.
you just
Cool.
got these flutes and you were like, let's run with this, and that's super cool.
Yeah, because I would bring him to the studio and Kevin's like, damn, that sounds sick. I'm like, hey, let's do something with this. Why not? They're
Now,
here.
when you're talking about the flutes that you received, were those the same flutes that you were performing with on the last tour?
Yeah.
Wow.
All
Okay.
except it,
That was a huge flute. That was like
yeah,
almost as tall
the
as
bow
you.
staff.
Yeah.
Yeah, the bow staff. I have two of them now, which is super cool.
Is
Yeah.
there like there must be a technical name for that, like a specific type of flute of that
Yeah,
size?
they're like, well, honestly, like no idea. They
Okay.
just call them like staff flute or like just pentatonic flute in C or G or
I think it
E.
is just the staff flute, right? I think
Yeah,
that
I think it
is.
is. On his website, I think it is. But Blue Bear Flutes, big shout out to Blue Bear Flutes because they're sweet.
Cool. Yeah, they sounded awesome.
Yeah.
Um, Now, Ritual wasn't just a creative experiment, but it was also this sort of technical experiment where you guys got the chance to record in your own studio for the first time, correct?
Yeah, it was basically out of necessity, right? So when it came time to make Ritual 2, this was the first thing we recorded after leaving Universal, after Starlifter. So basically when we made Starlifter and the Fearless record, our A&R guy at Universal, Sean, lovely human, beautiful human, love that guy. But he was very candid with us. He's like, so you guys want to put an 18-minute song in this record? Yes. And you want it to be the first song on the record? Yes. And you want it to be the lead single? Yes. Okay, boys, this is going to be great, but realistically, it's probably our last hurrah together. And we understood, and everyone at the label was really cool and understanding. But it was just like the world was moving in a different direction, right?
Mm,
That was
of
at
course.
the same year that the Beaches were dropped from Universal for not streaming enough.
Mm,
The
crazy.
fools.
You see how
So
that turned
yeah,
out.
yeah. So if the Beaches aren't streaming enough for Universal, there's no way um, that we are going to, right? So
Yeah.
we the writing was on the wall. We knew what was going down, and we made our peace with it. And in that like year period, yeah, we had no label, we had no recording budget, but we did have our studio that we write and rehearse everything at, and all it took was just a little bit of finesse to be able to record and mix it ourselves as well there. And so the Ritual 2 record was the first time that like Cody and I we co-produced the whole record. I engineered everything and I mixed the whole record, and it's really cool that that album is the one that got nominated for a Juno this year because we paid, I don't know. I think the only cost with that record was making the artwork and mastering the album with Phil Dimitro. Everything else we just did ourselves.
Well,
You
percussion
know,
rent costs, but minimal
Yeah.
from Graham. Yeah.
oh yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah, we
Yeah.
did
But
spend
it
yeah,
wasn't.
a lot. Yeah, we did end up spending one day going to our friend Graham's place because he has all this world percussion, and we did a few overdubs with that. But that's yeah, it's kind of crazy though. I mean, the majority of that album was just recorded on our couch,
Yeah.
and
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cheapest
and
record
I'm really
ever.
happy with that. I'm really happy with that record.
It's a
Hmm.
cool one for sure.
Yeah.
I have to say, like the conviction and the commitment to remaining who you are, like looking at your A&R guy, as great as he is, and being like, this is what we want to do. And then not backing down from that, and then pivoting to such a further direction, like such an anti-commercial label direction.
Yeah.
Like that is so like it's very clear to what Cody was saying earlier, like whatever you guys do, it is going to be Crown Lands, and that is so self-affirming almost.
Yeah,
Thanks.
well, I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, Canada is it can be it can be how do I say this? it can be really demoralizing for a musician, because there's about three cities you can actually play in that have a population large enough that supports live music. And the rest of the country is so spread out that if you want to make it in the traditional sense of touring, it's just so absurdly expensive. And then if you want to try and do something in the mainstream world, you have to spend so much money to get a radio campaign. And even then, you can hit a number one on active rock, and you're still playing in front of maybe 150 people in a dive bar. And we've done that. We've toured with a band who had a number one, and we were playing in front of 150 people a night in dive bars. Right? It's
Mm,
Canada is not really an art forward culture, and
Yeah.
because of that, you can try and force yourself aggressively into like that small echelon of like what seems to be working in Canada, um, and shave all of the rough edges and turn yourself into like a very inoffensive sphere of music, and and then hopefully you make it in that system. But as we know, Canada only embraces artists that succeed in America, right? Even
mm, mhm.
it's a really difficult path, and I don't know. I think we've just looked at that and we tried to play that game with Universal on the first record, and going and playing these really gross corporate pizza parties at the radio station, so they would give us three or four more spins a week and
Yeah.
let us climb the charts. And then every time that we tried to get a single going, you're like, well, if you guys did a Beatles cover, maybe it would work,
And
and
then we
we
did
play
it.
we yeah, and we played the game, we did it, and it just rang hollow. And we said,
Mm.
screw it, man. Like, let's do what we actually want to do. And then when we did what we wanted to do, we actually found a real audience,
Yeah.
not just in Canada, but, in Europe, in UK, and in America, where all of a
Yeah, it's
sudden we
amazing.
have this community of progressive music fans. And ironically, the Rituals, I would argue, are the most progressive pieces of
For
music
sure.
we've actually put out. But those freaked out a lot of our prog fans, which is
Yeah.
great because I feel like if you're not freaking people out, you're not doing the right thing. And I feel like so much of the Canadian music industry is focused on
The opposite
towing
of
the
freaking
line.
people out.
Yeah, and that's why bands
Interesting.
like Anshin de Poitvin are so. That's why they're having a moment, because you just do what you want to do, be your best weird self, and then hopefully good things will happen on your own
Yeah,
terms. So.
absolutely. They're a perfect example of that too.
Yeah, they're so weird. I love it.
They're cool. I love them.
Yeah, I like a friend the other day was like, "How would you describe them?" And I was like, "I don't even know. Like I don't have the words to describe what they're doing."
Some avant-garde
But
math rock.
like also alt rock, but also kind of disco, kind of funky.
I
Totally.
just
It's
call it
super prog.
microtonal funk. I don't know, like,
Yeah,
because
yeah, but
again,
Yeah.
when you talk about it,
does that do it
yeah,
justice as well? Like
Because it's very progressive as well. So
super.
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. But again, like as far
It's
as
very
math rock
inspiring.
goes, like a lot of it is actually very simple. It's just polyrhythmic, right?
Yeah.
Like
Hmm.
it's not
I
like
would
a
say it's
lot of
progressive.
traditional math. Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
it's not like Terra Mellos when it comes down to math rock,
Yeah.
where you're like, you got to
Totally.
bust out,
That's it.
the abacus
Calculator.
to be able to, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, because I feel like it's actually, yeah, I think it's a lot more, it's a lot simpler than when people actually let on.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. It's
and
just
that's what makes it
I
great.
mean, the first song's just in seven, and that's where I think the math rock accusations are coming in, but it's just four plus three.
Yeah, just
Exactly.
the way they feel it, the
Yeah,
way they play with the way they expand upon the time signature. I guess it would be very progressive rock.
yeah, yeah.
Very yeah.
It
Uh,
Anyway,
is. Yeah.
great band.
great band.
Yeah.
Shifting to Apocalypse. Now, you had such a fantastic time recording Ritual 2 on your couch. Apocalypse is recorded in the same studio, correct?
For the
Yeah.
most part, yeah.
So,
Um,
how was that?
pretty
Because this
much
is a very
everything
different
except for
record.
the drums. Yeah,
Yeah.
it is a very different record.
Night and day.
Um, yeah, it totally is. Like we started the process of recording Apocalypse. God, like probably around the same time as Ritual, maybe even actually before. I feel like so many Crown Lands records take so long to gestate, and they often,
They come in
if a
pieces.
record comes out, yeah, if a record comes out after one record, it usually was like the writing started before it, and then we
Mm.
abandoned it in favor of something that maybe seemed easier, or we call
Yeah.
them side quests. Like
Yeah.
the main mission of Apocalypse, ironically, yeah, started um
It's,
before the Rituals, because I mean,
I don't
again,
think.
there was that time like when we were dropped from Universal. um we were kind of wandering this wilderness, and like I demoed out like this 11-minute piece called Apocalypse, and I kept sending it to Cody, and there'd be a new part, there'd be a different, different arrangement, and I was just doing
Yeah.
a lot of the drums, just programming it at home.
Program random drums. Yeah.
And ironically, a couple of those parts ended up on the, like, well, not the recordings, but like a couple of those
Mm.
arrangements
Hmm.
ended up
Yeah.
on the final. Just like small things, but
Like the Floydy part where it's like just Nick Masonism. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
exact,
Yeah.
In
yeah.
that beginning, yeah.
Um, but there's so again, like it takes a long time to kind of flesh something like that out, and after we demoed that and like a few others, I think we demoed Black Star and Foot Soldier, the Syndicate, and we had those for a while. And we ended up doing a writing session with David Bottrell 2 summers ago. Oh my God, that was
I
two
don't know
summers
if
ago,
it
right?
was. I don't, I
Well, yeah,
really,
it was when we ended up, because again, like I had like the
but
rough music of the fall done.
yeah, I know those were earlier. But
Yeah,
wasn't Apocalypse like more recent? I thought it was like last year.
yeah. No, I'm talking. I'm going as far back
Oh,
as I can, Cody.
oh, okay,
Shut the
okay.
fuck up. No,
He's a
um.
nice guy, eh?
So we're going the the fall and Black Star. We had a writing session with Bottrell, just because we had most of the music, um, with the exception of the bridge for the fall, and it was Bottrell's idea to be like, "Hey, man, like, why don't you, change the key for this?" And I was like, my man, what a great idea. So we went from C minor up into D minor for the bridge, and it just felt like you have this beautiful lift. And Dave's always got these great harmonic ideas that, are often very simple, but really kind of like elevate it. Where, um, like in the chorus of Black Star, when it goes in the extended part, there's like the figure where it goes to like the F major to an E major, but you're in the key of D minor, and it's like this really weird thing, and it kind of pulls your ear. And because I was going from the F to the G, and he was like, "Oh no, like go to the E right there," and it really has that kind of feeling of like a Farewell to Kings or something, right? Where there's again like kind of clever harmony that like pushes you out of just using the diatonic chords within a key. And Dave's always been great about like kind of pushing us to just think outside the box in a lot of the ways. And I feel like I always hear his voice in my head when we're writing music now. And it's just helped us get a lot
Yeah.
closer to a final product when we have, when we send something to him. But the thing that we struggled with on both of those songs was the top line, was getting the
Yeah.
vocal. And Dave is always such a great sounding
Yeah.
board.
I can speak to that,
And
yeah, on the
yeah,
vocal side. Yeah. Yeah, like in the past, like Dave, I would go to his place and like we would just do vocals together at his place, and it was amazing. He was just like he will tell me exactly how it is, and he's not afraid to tell you to your face if something's working or something's not. But what's really cool is he allows you to experiment and um and play around with it. But on these songs, he really he really helped refine the choruses. Like he's just amazing. Like the chorus of Lady of the Lake, for example, we did with him. Um White Buffalo, The Shadow, and like that's just our older stuff. But for Foot Soldier and Black Star, I feel like he just keeps upping the ante, and he always gets the best performances and the best arrangements out of me. Because I have a tendency to start choruses on the ands because I'm a drumming singer.
but Cody, David
But
had nothing to do with any of the top line on Foot Soldier. Get your facts right, bro.
no, well, I mean like just in general, because like you said, working with David for so long, he rubs off on you and how you see music and how you perform it. So it's like you're always hearing his criticism in your head because we've worked with him for so long. He's been such a long time
Mm.
collaborator.
Hmm.
he kind of gets you out of your own thing. He's like he reprograms, reconditions the way you approach music. So it's like I feel like for this album in particular, I'm approaching it not like a drumming singer for like the first time, which is
Yeah.
super.
Yeah.
But it's because of his contribution, because
A
of Cody.
lot, yeah. A lot of that, yeah, is Cody will hit the downbeat and then take a breath and then come in on the
Yeah,
and,
exactly.
for
Yeah,
most
like I
parts,
said,
right?
Mm.
yeah.
Uh,
And then,
Cody, do
yeah,
you
and
think of yourself, I mean, with that, like, I feel like I have to ask, do you think of yourself as a drummer then singer, or do you think of yourself as a singer who plays the drums?
Well, I've been playing drums since I was literally like a year old, so it's hard to decouple that. But for
Mm.
saying like I'm a drummer first,
Yeah.
and I'm also a singer, I'm both. It is what it is. But at the core of who I am, I'm a drummer for sure.
Yeah.
But I just happen to sing as well.
Cool. Cool. Um, Now you guys were kind of talking about it, but Apocalypse clocks in at like 20 minutes. It's the lead single. The first demo, as Kevin was saying, comes in at about 11 minutes. How do you guys approach writing songs at such an incredible length? Like is it a conscious decision we want it to be a longer song? Is it just that more ideas keep flooding in? Like what is the process to writing like this monolithic piece of music?
It's just our unique brand of stupidity.
that's a beautiful way to put it, bro.
Um, we have a giant demo, right? And sometimes, most of the time, Kevin's like, it's got to be X length. And I'm like, dude, the music just has to be good. Screw the length. And we go back and forth on it. And then we're like, okay, doesn't matter. Let's just say 20 minutes, but let's get the whiteboard out. Let's grab all these parts that we are kind of like put in a part bank that sounds similar and see what fits. And we kind of do that for like 2 weeks. We hammer out a rough structure. We like it, and then we're like, "Oh my God, it's like 21 minutes. Oh, this is great." And then Kevin's happy, I'm happy. It sounds like a cool song. And then we go to we go to whoever is going to produce it, like Nick, for example. And then he shaves off like a minute or a couple minutes, and then it's like 19 minutes. And then Kevin's like, "No, why?" But like, hey, if the song's good, the song's good.
Of
But
course.
Yeah, a
we
lot
just
of the
can't
time,
help
yeah,
it.
like I'll go in with with a bit more of like a vision of the final product, and Cody, I think, doesn't want to even think about the final product until it's done.
Yeah.
Um, and it's just like a different philosophies of making art, right? And
Mm,
I like to I usually all kind of like see it in my mind's eye before it's if it's like as it's just a little baby. I already see it as like the final thing, and Cody's like, I don't even want to think about it as final until the master is done, and then Cody will text me and be like, hey man, do you think we can change something about the mix? Or like, I don't really like my ride bell pattern at this part as we're like mastering it. I'll be like, wait a second. But it's like again like different philosophies of approaching music. And um the yeah so we ended up scrapping about half of that original 11-minute demo. I think like it was like the first 6 or 7 minutes of that structurally like remained intact, and then right until I feel it's funny because I feel like that's where like the song really takes off, because that was when Cody and I started um writing the rest of the music just in the studio together, and we approached it the way that Yes would used to record most of their music, where you go in, there'd be like no click, and you just play the last minute of the music, and you play along to it, and then you'd arm at that time I think we were demoing in Logic, and then we would bring the demos into Pro Tools. But basically, we would just like create a quick punch system where you'd start recording over your track like a minute, and so we'd be playing along
mm,
until all of a sudden we're no longer playing along to the original music, and now we're going forward, and we basically be like, oh, this part could go here and this part could go there, and we play for another 2 or 3 minutes for a new section, stop it, listen back, okay, that sounds good, and then just keep going. And it would be almost like musical journaling, where you had this great idea, you do that, and then we'd listen to it over the night, and we'd come back, Cody'd be like, this part actually needs to go here, or I'd say this part needs to be twice as long, or blah blah, all that kind of stuff, and then you end up chopping it all up. And that's how we did it. And I think we only did that with like 8 inputs. And I remember using a sub mixer to get Cody's drums all recorded onto one channel for the original demo. And I remember we had like a 20-minute demo that was very, very close to the final structure, just no click, like all off the floor. And it was a whole ordeal to map out the tempo map in Pro Tools for this.
Mm.
And I think that took like, I don't know, probably better part of a week.
No.
And maybe even longer. And then, so anyways, we sent it to Nick, or actually we showed it to Nick when we were down at his studio. And he just looks at me, he's like, how the fuck did you guys record this? Like, this isn't to a click, is it? I'm just like, no, because again, like Nick comes from such a world of, he works in, the biggest rock records in the world. And there's like a certain polish that he can
Mm.
bring to a project. But I think he was really excited about it. And I think it was the first time since we had done context with him that he was so fired up about a piece of music. Because we usually, we'll go to guys like David Bottrell and Nick Reskulinecz when we think we have something that has a little bit of crossover commercial appeal. And it was just really funny that Nick was the most fired up about this 20-minute space prog epic. And there were no lyrics on it yet, right? So like we were just
Yeah.
like in between bong hits, we were filling him in on like the storyline of like this is when we're going through the asteroid belt. This is where
Yeah.
the battle on the home planet's happening. And he's just looking at us like,
He's like,
yeah,
oh
boys.
shit, dude.
This is odd, yeah, and it just felt like really special. And and I think that's where that's where music it's exciting is when it puts on when it makes you laugh like that and it makes you
Yeah,
be like
man.
this is so ridiculous. I mean it's the same thing, like I kind of blindsided Cody and Ollie, our manager. We were on a phone call and he's like, okay, so what is this album called? And we're like, Apocalypse. It's like, what's the artwork direction? I'm like, a fucking dragon in outer space. And everyone laughs, like, no way, it's not good.
Silly. Yeah, I was like, no way, bro. We can't do that. That's ridiculous. And he's like, I really want it. Why not?
Yeah, and a
Like,
big reason why it kind of got pushed forward was Nick and his love of it because he was watching, I think, House of the Dragon at the time, and then we came to him with Through the Looking Glass, which was and I had pushed for the chorus to be up on the Dragon's Wings We Come Flying. Cody's like, I'm not doing this, bro. And then Nick gets a hold of the demo and he's like, boys, hell yeah, we need it was just
I was
like,
like, oh,
but
I just kind of rolled my eyes. I'm like, fuck it, let's go.
but now when Cody's singing that on stage and then Austin our guitar tech comes on stage as a dragon and we slay him in the
Mhm.
bridge, it's like the high point of the show. And I think it's just like I think for so long we've been so afraid of like the love of the campy thing, like because I remember the first time we ever had any money to do a music video, my dream was that Cody and I would dress up as
Yeah,
kaiju and
yeah,
just
it's like
and duke it out and fight each
like
other.
like
And
intergalactic. You know that?
and we just never got there,
Yeah.
for one reason or another. Because I think like you get signed to a major label, all this good stuff happens. People tell you not to embrace the silly side, blah blah blah. You start taking yourself too seriously, and then you realize like, wait a second, we play progressive rock. We have 20-minute songs about space
Sure.
dragons. We need to just turn whatever we love up. And the thing is Cody might not look like it. He's the biggest Godzilla fan I've ever met.
I love Godzilla
I
so
love
much.
Godzilla.
Cody fucking loves Godzilla, you know, like,
Hell
and
yeah.
I think it's just again embracing that and
Yeah.
again turning it up,
Oh,
and I think that's all we've seen, is the more we lean into the things that we actually love but maybe felt not entirely comfortable with
Mm.
embracing while we were in the major label ecosystem. It's been
yeah.
great because now that we've been signed with Inside Out Music, there's an amazing German progressive rock label. They've got Dream Theater. They've got, yes, they just sound Pineapple Thief. Um, they're doing amazing things. And the most amazing thing is
They get it, man.
they get it and they want to help us achieve our vision. And it's like when we met Thomas, the guy who runs the label, he's just looking at Cody and I was like, "You guys are nerds." Cody's got a big Xenomorph t-shirt on, and
Yeah.
I'm just talking to him about like I don't know, like the reason why
Yeah, my Star
tape,
Wars.
like nice. I forget what we were talking about. It was something about synthesizers or tape machines, and he's just like, you guys are legit nerds, And I think
He was
I'm like, but
surprised how
yeah,
nerdy
but
we
I'm just looking at Thomas. I'm like, bro, you run a progressive rock label. Like
were.
You're the
we are
nerd.
one in
What?
yeah, we are one in the same. But it's
Aren't we
just
all
Yeah.
nerds here?
but it just feels really good to be somewhere where we're supported. And
Hmm.
when we tell and we come to them with a concept album, they're stoked and they want to help us, put it out. And again,
Yeah.
I don't know what success looks like in this day and age when
Also,
everyone is just struggling to populate social media content, but
bingo.
whatever. You
Yeah.
know, we're
Yeah.
figuring it out. We're figuring it
Fair,
Yeah.
out.
fair.
But like success to me is like putting on Godzilla when we're working with Nick Raskulinix, working on Apocalypse stuff. Because that's what we did. He had a TV and we threw on Godzilla and it was just on the whole time. It was awesome.
Yeah.
That sounds
It's the
sick. I love
little
your
it's the little
process.
thing. Thanks, man. It's the
My,
little
yeah,
thing.
my hot take is that the 90s Godzilla movie with Jean Reno and Matthew Broderick is so overhated. I
I
mean,
haven't
Dude,
seen that one since I was a
dude,
kid.
it's a
dude,
good
it's awesome. I don't
it's
even
pretty
care,
awesome.
man. Like the scene with the miniature Godzillas where it's
Yeah.
basically just well, if you think about it, I forget the whole storyline. I think it was the script writer for The Lost World had
Mm,
originally done like a whole um like a 30-page part of the script was the velociraptors getting on the ship in the
yeah.
second Jurassic Park movie, and
Yeah,
they were the
yeah.
ones that were wreaking havoc throughout the city. And for one reason or another, it didn't make
Never
it in
got
the
so.
original movie. And
Probably
I
because
then I think that
T-Rexes sell
guy,
more toys.
yeah, I guess,
Yeah.
but I think like that's why they put the baby Godzillas in
Yeah,
that
yeah.
because I think it was the same
Oh.
script writer where the guy was like, I need to get this out on the silver screen.
Oh.
And if you look at like it for that, where it's like, hey, I love giant lizards wreaking havoc. I mean, what's not to love,
What's
It's
man?
not to
great.
love?
Yo, what fun fact? That Godzilla shows up and gets annihilated by the OG Toho Godzilla in Godzilla Final War, bro.
Yeah, what they call it? He's not even Godzilla. He's
He's
just
called
Zilla.
Zilla. Yeah. They call
He's
him
just Zilla.
Zilla.
I'm gonna have to revisit this one. I don't remember
I
this
love
Yeah,
it
movie
when you
at
call me
all.
Big Zilla. No, it's a great movie, man.
it
And it's
is.
got
I remember that one.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
Got
it's great.
Kashmir in the credits. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait,
Yeah.
wait, wait. No, it's not just isn't it that with Diddy as
It's
well?
Diddy.
Oh
It's like
no!
Jimmy Page
Yeah.
and Diddy.
What the
They
Uh,
heck?
yeah,
the
yeah.
two most notorious
That ain't good.
diddlers
That
out
ain't
there,
good.
Diddy's been caught. When is Jimmy Page going down?
Crazy.
Um speaking of stories. I think this is a good time to jump to this. There's
Yes,
a
sir.
cohesive narrative between
Hey,
Fearless, Ritual, and now Apocalypse.
bingo.
What
You could even go
is
back as far as White Buffalo.
really?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
it all kind of starts with the
The
Oracle.
Oracle. Yeah.
Interesting. Interesting. What is the story and where does Apocalypse fit into this timeline? Oh, Cody is
Okay.
ready.
All right. So the overarching narrative, for Apocalypse, it's the prequel to Starlifter Fearless Part 2. It's the rise of the Syndicate. It's the rise of Black Star as the prominent right hand of the Syndicate, and the fall of Black Star and Black Star's planet and Karagon at the same time. So this takes place in a time where the Syndicate first they've already established a presence on Karagon, and they come back to basically finish the job. Um, and upon destroying Fearless's planet, because Fearless is asleep on this planet, they destroy it. They fight with the Ebb and Flight. Sadly, the Ebb and Flight loses, and they all die out. Or maybe some of them survive. Who knows how we'll retcon it? But once they just take the planet, they strip mine it, they take all the resources, and they're on their way back. Um, at the same time, there's a civil war that breaks out on the Syndicate's homeworld, Black Star's home planet, um, over these resources and over this new ideology of the Syndicate taking and colonizing space and strip mining planets and attacking solar systems, um, and taking it for their own. And so all these things simultaneously happen. And when Blackstar arrives, after the skirmish between the interfighting between his own people, he arrives to his home planet realizing that his everything he's loved, his family, everything in his home world is destroyed and overturned as a result of this hatred and this cycle of violence that he kind of sowed out in the universe and helped perpetuate. And so the overarching theme of like Apocalypse is like hate begets hate, violence begets
Mm.
violence. What you sow, in one place, it'll eventually come back to you in your own home, and your own peace will be disrupted. And so this tells the story of like, how Black Star has fallen. He was evil before, but he kind of doubles down in the end. And at the very end, we have like this glimmer of hope where like, you have like the melody of Starlifter, and it says like fearless will rise in the stars above. And it's just kind of like this little tiny glimmer of hope, even though it is truly an apocalypse of not just one, but two worlds.
Wow, I love all that.
Yeah.
You guys are nerds.
Yeah, man.
We
I
are
love it.
nerds.
Um, okay, so Tolkien serves in World War One, and he writes Lord of the Rings as a reflection of there was no real bad guy in World War One, and he feels that like what if the forces of the world had to actually come together and stop something so ultimately evil, and that's
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings. Do you find when you're creating this story that you are greatly influenced by reality, or is this coming from a purely fantastical sci-fi place?
Well, as with
So
any,
much of reality comes in,
yeah,
man. Like, I
every,
remember coming to Cody with the concept for Foot Soldier, the Syndicate. And Cody's like, I don't want to talk about this. This is too depressing because it's like very much about like the result. The talk about how easy it is to radicalize like a regular person, and it's
Mm.
very thinly veiled of what's happened in America and around the world, right? Where
Hmm.
how a normal person can be seduced by the alt right, and um, and we just had to kind of like turn up the fantasy a little bit
yeah,
and have it kind of play into that. And I think there's a lot of that on this record where like it's really uncomfortable things that we are facing as a society.
yeah.
And then we're just able to embrace the science fantasy that Cody and I really love. I think we rewatch Lord of the Rings and Star Wars,
Yeah, I read this
three or
really.
four times a year. Like it's
Yeah,
you know and I think it's just like yeah, embracing that because again, Star Wars was a thinly veiled allegory for the Vietnam War.
Hmm.
And it's all yeah, it seems to be like always yeah, the good fantasy always seems to come out around times of turmoil and strife because people want to
escape.
escape. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
That escapism, but also have it rooted in something that
It,
seems familiar.
it's a reflection. It's
Yeah.
absolutely, yeah. And like as with anything with Crownlands, we talk about stuff that really matters to us. And even if we've taken more of a fantasy sci-fi edge, we're still really reflecting the world around us. I would argue like everything on this record is a result of like, what's going on around us and what inspired by that kind of stuff. Even still.
Uh, how important, kind of building off of what you were just saying, how important is the thematic nature of your work like this to the
Integral.
identity of Crownlands?
Yeah, dude, like
Huge. Yeah.
integral, I would say. Yeah. Like I don't think we could just do like a fantasy bit just cause, and just like leave it at that. The closest we've done to something like that is I would say like Ritual, where it
Mm.
doesn't really have like something thematic. Is like overall that's kind of related to the real world. But yeah, it's massive, man. Like we put that in every big release we do. There's something that ties to something real that we want to talk about.
Very cool.
Yeah. Yeah, and the rituals yeah, just serve to show the planet of Karagon before the arrival of the Syndicate, where
Yeah.
this beautiful natural world and it's all gone now.
Yeah.
Uh, Now I have also read that you guys are working on a Dungeons and Dragons adaptation to this as well,
That's right.
which
Yeah, I've
I think
been
is super cool. I've never played Dungeons and Dragons, but I think
dude.
it's something that I would really enjoy playing.
All
Um,
right. All right.
Now I am super curious. I don't know how big a D&D party is either, so you guys can take the lead on this one. Anyone in the world, anyone in history, your dream D&D party. Who are you
Oh,
inviting?
oh. Anyone in the world, alive or dead?
I what would you
Alive, right?
prefer?
Please. Alive, because dead would be too hard.
Okay,
But
fine.
unless
We could
unless
do it
unless
live.
you're a necromancer, bro.
Yo.
Well, now everyone's alive.
Oh man. Dude, that's actually really tough. Because a D&D party, like it can scale, right? Like let's just say five people.
Okay.
Um,
Does that include the two of you? So are we
yeah.
picking three additional people?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Who's gonna DM? Luke?
Oh man. Well, Luke is my DM in real life. So the guy who's done like all our like the recent music video, live video, is my DM in real life, and he's awesome. So I would pick him as the DM for
Okay.
sure. It would be so cool to play Dungeons and Dragons. I don't know why he's popping in my head. Andy Serkis, the guy who played Gollum. Like he seems amazing because he did an amazing like he knows the material of Lord of the Rings. He just
And like
narrated
he
like
lived
all
it.
of the
Like he's like
yeah.
crawling around the set. Like that's not something
Yeah.
you could just phone in.
And
We should
I'm rereading the Silmarillion this time audiobook and he did the audiobook for it and
Oh yeah.
he's nailing it. So like I think he would be cool to roll with.
I feel like isn't Vin Diesel like the biggest D&D guy in
I
Hollywood
think
as
I've heard
well?
that. Yeah, I
I
think
didn't
I've heard
know
that.
that.
Yeah, we should get Vin Diesel in there.
Oh, he's definitely like a gnome engineer or something like that.
Yeah, I'm gonna Google this, you
Because
know.
he
No,
likes
gnome
like the
engineer with a heart for family.
yeah, or like an
Yeah.
artificer or something. Because he was in
Yeah.
that like Chronicles of Riddick shit, right? It's like
Yeah,
steampunk
yeah. Way
vibes.
back in the
Yeah.
day.
Yeah. That's so funny. Oh man. And then who else? We need like a tank. Like we need like a big beefy boy.
I'll
Hmm.
be the tank, bro.
Okay, cool. We got you.
No, no, I feel like I'd want to be like some kind of rogue. I'd want to be,
I knew it. The stealth
yeah,
arc,
yeah. I don't know though, man. I feel like
the Bilbo vibe. Steal the shit, steal the gold from the
I don't know,
dragon.
man. I don't know. I feel like it's like you want to be some kind of spellcaster, but you don't want to just be like a wimpy wizard who has to be protected by everybody too. It's
Mm,
tricky.
Well,
mm.
It's a tricky. You can spend your whole. What do you play as?
I usually play a tiefling sorcerer. So this tiefling element is like they're like a demonic like race where they're able to like conceal themselves in darkness, and they kind of have like this natural like mage armor. And then I use like sorcerer because then I can do weird shit. Like I can turn myself to a gas cloud and just float around. I can just like grow. I can just stick to any surface like Spider-Man. It's pretty crazy. So like whenever shit hits the wall, I'm like I'm peacing out and I'm gonna go over here and then I'm gonna hit you and you can't hit me. So that's like my whole.
Oh, wait a second, Cody. When things get hairy, you just dip out.
Yeah,
Hmm.
man.
Hmm.
Well, no, I help
Hmm.
from afar, but if I get
Yeah,
because
sure,
as,
sure.
as a sorcerer, you can't actually like get hit too much because you're squishy, right? So.
I can't help load the trailer. I'm a gas cloud.
Exactly.
Exactly. It all makes sense. All right.
But yeah, last person. Let's see. Who would be the last
Oh, so
guy?
we're not going with Vin?
Yeah, we'll go with Vin. We'll roll with him. Why not? So we got Vin, Andy Serkis. We got one. We need one more.
I think I read that Tom Morello plays
Oh,
D&D.
that would be cool. I'd be down. That'd be so sick. Yeah. Tom seems like a cool hang. So like, yes. That's a
Sick.
crazy guy.
Crownlands, Andy Serkis, Vin Diesel, and Tom Morello.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
Luke pair on DMing. That sounds like fun.
Yeah,
I'm down.
yeah.
But yeah, I'm working on two one-shot campaigns within the world of like Karagon and stuff, where you can either be the Syndicate or the Ebb and Flight. You choose one or the other, and there's like a
Cool,
quest one. And
cool. I love that
yeah,
you're expanding this. Like the music is cool, the story is cool. I love that you're just expanding this into like places that you don't typically see bands go into.
Yeah, we're really embracing our nerdiness, like we were saying earlier. So
Yeah, do it up.
when we do eventually have like an event, grab your D20, pull up a chair, man. Roll
Uh,
initiative.
so Apocalypse drops in May. What does the rest of 2026 look like for you guys?
Hmm.
We're in the middle of planning some European dates, which is very exciting. I don't know if we're getting down to the States this year. I think we're going to save that for early next year,
Hmm,
just because there's only so much time and so much money you can hemorrhage while going on the road. It's
fair enough,
very,
of course.
very expensive, and I feel like we can probably justify investing in one market this year. And I think we really want to get over to Europe just because our label's European. The majority of our most vocal fan base seems to be based in the UK and Europe as well. So I think that makes a lot of sense.
Amazing.
Um, Also, like, we're in the middle of writing the next album, the
Yeah.
sequel to Apocalypse and Starlifter right now.
So
So
yeah, when you say sequel, that would follow Starlifter?
Yes, right.
exactly. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
now, Starlifter is very much Fearless's story. Apocalypse is very much Black Star's story, and this next record is going to be where they
Both of
face
them.
off across time and space.
Yeah,
Sick.
no more spoilers. That's it. That's all you get.
Sick. The final question that I like to ask, what are, for both of you, what are your three desert island records?
Ooh, damn. We were just talking about this yesterday. Like talking about the album. 2112 for me is one of them by Rush. Just because it has such a special place in my heart. I grew up like watching my dad play that record on the drums, and he introduced me to that record first. Um, then I would say I think I would go out and say Metal by Pink Floyd.
Good choice.
Oh,
Just like as
Good
like a
choice.
really
interesting.
beautiful, yeah. It's just one of that I would be happy dying to that record. Like it's such a beautiful record that's so
Yeah,
peaceful.
yeah,
Um,
that's a good one, bro.
Thanks, bro. And then my last record, oh my goodness. It's a lot of pressure. Let me think about it while you give your two. I have some time to think about my last one.
Hmm.
Right? It's
So,
so
well, I feel like what I believe to be the greatest example of what a record can be and what is my favorite record is one and the same, and that is Close to the Edge by Yes. So
Mhm.
that's an easy one. That's like on any list. If I could pick one album, it's Close to the Edge. If I could pick one, like that's
Okay,
done,
that's
easy.
that is the number one. Yeah.
Without a doubt, it's the pinnacle of recording technology. It's the pinnacle of, like, how the hell did they do that with tape, right? it's
Mm.
it's just it's pure magic. It's the Beatles meets Stravinsky. I mean, come on, man, it's magic. Best album of all time, without a doubt. And I could listen to that all day, every day. And I don't think I would ever get tired of it. There's still no things I discover about it. You can go back and listen to it and just try to find all the tape edits they did and all the punch-ins, and unbelievable, unbelievable record. So what's the criteria for this year? Are we
It's
talking about like,
whatever you want it to
like
be.
anyone,
like,
I've
is
right?
it
had
is it like,
people
are we?
I've had people go through like their three favorite albums, their three albums they can't stop listening to like right now. People
Yeah.
sometimes like break it down by vibe, like if I'm on a desert island, like switch it up. It's
Yeah,
whatever you want it to be.
Legend by Bob Marley. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
That one
as
has
far
come
as
up.
like,
That one
yeah,
is
like,
that one has come up specifically because it's a desert island. Yeah.
yeah.
That
I
would
mean,
be
it's
nice. Like,
you're never gonna be in a bad mood.
yeah. You're just crying like so hard listening to Bob Marley. Like, I'm never going back.
No, but
It's
I started
impossible.
crying, but then I remembered what Bob said. No, woman, no
No
cry,
cry.
no
You-
cry.
I'm going at it from the perspective like I'm never hearing another record again.
Yeah, and
Oh,
I
okay.
would agree with
Okay.
you then. Like, where metal, it does have like
Right?
kind of an endless re-listenability,
Yeah.
that maybe a lot of other Floyd doesn't have. Where,
Mm.
like, I
Yeah.
don't think I could listen to. The Wall nonstop. I could listen to metal
No.
nonstop too, bro.
I-
That's a good choice.
Yeah, I think another record that I would put on, my last one, is the White Album by the Beatles.
Mm,
Mm.
Like if I'm never gonna listen to anything else again, because it's got so much range within that
of
one
course.
record.
Nothing but Wild Honey Pie and Revolution 9.
Yeah, honey pie.
It's like
Just watching the waves go.
that's like proto Primus right there.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Without Wild Honey Pie, we never would have had King Crimson.
We've
Um,
never had the Lennon Claypool delirium.
that's true. Um, Great band.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a really good trio of records.
I like that.
Ironically,
Yeah.
none of these albums, all of them are before 1974.
I
It's
know.
hilarious. Actually, no, 2112 is 76. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, let's lock in, boys. Okay,
Yeah,
so
lock
Close to
in.
the Edge. Yes, easy, easy, easy. Number one. There's there's no other answer. Um, I would probably put Lost in the Dream by the War on Drugs up there for me of just endless re-listenability. But again,
Very
I'm
cool.
on a
Yeah.
desert island. I am just gonna be that's an album where like you will be crying all day for the rest of your life listening to that. But I mean, that's gotta be up there for sure for me. And then for like again, like endless re-listenability, I don't know, man. I think I need to pick something by Joni Mitchell just because
Mm.
everything just, I'm thinking either
Everything's
his
just so
era.
beautiful.
Yeah, maybe the live album Shadows and Light because one, that's a
Mm.
double album, and then you get Jaco Pastorius and
Yeah.
Pat
Yeah. Yeah.
Metheny in
Yeah.
the band there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And again, for endless re-listenability, you could listen to 30 seconds from each song and learn something entirely new about harmony from that record, where it's just like the most mind-blowingly rich music. And like where else do you get to hear jazz, rock, folk, funk? Like that album
Yeah.
has
So
everything
much.
you
So
could ever want.
visionary.
Blues, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that probably as of today, yeah, it would be Close to the Edge, Shadows and Light, and Lost in the Dream.
Love that.
Easy.
I love both of those lists.
Sick.
Um,
Me too. Me
well,
too.
Hey.
Kevin, Cody, thank you very much for joining me today. And again, congrats on Apocalypse.
Thank you so
Thanks,
much.
brother.
Thanks for having us, man.
Yeah, anytime, guys. Anytime. Let's do this
Oh, yeah.
again.
All right.
That was like seriously like a fantastic conversation.
Oh, great.
Oh,
I'm glad. Yeah, I was having fun.
yeah, it
Cool.
was good. Fuck
Yeah.
yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Well, see you
We'll
soon,
cut it
man.
there. Have a good one, guys.
All
Thanks,
right.
man. Take it
Cheers.
easy.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for tuning into my conversation with Crownland's Kevin Comeau and Cody Bowles. Apocalypse is available now across all digital streaming platforms with physical options including CDs and 3 colored variant vinyls, available at crownlandsmusic.com. And of course, be sure to follow the band across all socials at Crownlands Music and to sign up for their mailing list to see what more is to come from the band this year. In 2 weeks, tune in for an all-new episode. I'm Jared Harris, and this is Beats by Jer.